Streets Unplugged by the Luxembourg Street Photo Collective.
Hi everybody, all of you happy people. I'm Paulo Lobo from Luxembourg Street Photo Collective, and I'm really happy to be again with you for this new podcast in the series of Streets Unplugged podcasts. And today we have a special guest. Most of you probably will know, and the others they will get to know. So it's Giulia Thinnes. Hi.
Hi, Paulo.
How do you feel today?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good, yeah.
So just to explain, we are recording this in the Café Le Bovary, which is a very nice café littéraire here in Luxembourg. So we are in this cozy atmosphere, this cozy November atmosphere with a very smooth jazz music in the background. So we are really, I think, quiet and cozy. First thing. Second thing, we are speaking in English because we want everybody, the most of people to understand what we are saying, right?
Yes.
Because usually we speak
try.
French. And Giulia, you and me, we speak French, which is more natural, but we will make the effort to speak in English this time because we want to really the maximum of people to understand the podcast. So Giulia, we know each other for a few years because actually you are a member of our collective.
Yeah.
Can you remind me the date or the year, not the date, but the year when you joined us?
I think it was 2016.
2016, yeah. But you were already a kind of follower of the festival. I think we saw us 2 or 3 years before in previous meetings from the collective.
There was, I think there was a slide night where
Yes.
where I did send my application to, and you chose me to show my works.
Yes.
That was the first time. I think it was 1 year before, like 2015, then you started something like an open call, I think, for members, and I applied.
And you came, you joined us. Very good. 2016. It's already 8 years ago.
Wow.
So first of all, we want to tell our auditors, not auditors, how do you say in English, not the auditors, because the auditors, listeners. Yes. The reference of your website, because we will deal a little bit with your pictures.
Yes.
And it's...
So it's giuliathinnes.com.
Yes.
It's giuliathinnes.com.
Exactly. giuliathinnes.com. And in Instagram, you can also find Giulia.
Yes, Giulia Thinnes.
Exactly.
Yeah, same thing.
So we invite you, all of you people, to really have a look in this internet website, which is very, very representative. Well, as each internet website should be a visit card.
Yeah.
So this is actually your visit card.
Yeah, it is.
It is very, very interesting because it's not full. It's very simple, very minimalist, very clear. So we know exactly what are the projects, what is your aim. So you wanted this website to be very, very, very simple, very talkative.
Yes, I wanted it to be quite simple, not too much on it. Just show the photos that I really like, that I want people to see, or also projects that I actually concentrate on. Some of them are finished, but others are still a bit ongoing. And there's even 1 or 2 on it that I may remove in the future because it's not something I'll continue. We'll see.
Okay, so it's a website not under construction, in movement.
In movement. If there's some new work, I'll put it on and maybe remove older ones.
Okay. We already talked a little bit in the past. You came to photography. It was not an early decision.
No, not really. As quite some people, I got my first camera when I was 10 years old, something like that, and then I had it was a film camera, of course. Was in the 80s back then, and at that time I had this one camera. I had one film in it, and this film of, I don't know, 24 exposures lasted from. There were on the same film that were things from Easter, and then the holidays in the summer, and then also pictures from Christmas, all on the same film. So
one film for the whole year.
Yeah, one film for the whole year. So I didn't photograph a lot back then.
Okay.
It only came, I think, when I was about 25 or something like that, that I started to. I think I bought my first own camera, a used one that I still have, and then I started to use it a bit, to photograph a bit more, and I never let go of it. So, and then at some point when I was was in the late 30s, around 40, I started to go for it, and after that, I think when I was like 42, something like that, I moved to Berlin and started photography studies again. Mm-hmm. And, so that's when
the dynamic grew bigger.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Your photography is very, very peculiar. I would say you have a very unique way of expressing yourself through images. We can immediately sense there is something special in your way of photographing or choosing the subjects which you who you want to photograph. It's very. I would use the term of slow photography, because you don't rush. You don't give the feeling that you are rushing to photograph everything all around you.
No, I don't. There was a time when I started to get into it more, like I don't know, was around the time when I joined the Street Photo Collective. I was photographing a lot of street. So at that time I photographed more. It was more like quantity, and it came more and more. I came to the conclusion that I wanted to stay on film photography, because I photograph less when I photograph on film, and I tried digital photography. I also have a digital camera, but I made the experience that when I take digital photos, they are not necessarily better. I take maybe 10 times more, but the result of it is about the same good pictures than when I take 10 times less of analog photos. So, that's also, you could call that a little bit slow photography, maybe. It's also slow in that sense that when I take the pictures, I often have to, or not have to, but the films often are lying around for weeks and months before I develop them. And then only after that I develop them, see the results. It's always like Christmas to...
like a surprise.
A surprise.
Because
weeks,
pictures are happening and you nearly forgot about the moments, probably.
Sometimes, yes. It's a bit less the case when I'm on a particular project where exactly more or less know what I want to photograph. Then I still have in mind normally the pictures. But when I just wander around and let myself guide the flow, sometimes I don't even know what's on the film anymore, because I normally I write it down a little bit with the dates where it was taken more or less and when or where, but I sometimes forget that, and then there are films that are completely surprised when I...
They are having their own life, secret life, and then suddenly they reveal what they have inside themselves. Okay.
And then when I see them after scanning them, I see what I did, and then sometimes maybe after that there's like a, how do you call it in English?
In French
is a fil rouge, like something appears in the project that makes it a project.
Okay. Yeah. So you by doing things, by doing photographs, you see the way where you want to go. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I rarely have a specific theme when I start to photograph because I think I'm not really that kind of photographer. I want to try out that more to really have like a concept before starting. But I tried it once and I quite failed with that. But I tried again and.
You define yourself somewhere in the website. I read that you define yourself as an intuitive photographer. You are more intuitive than conceptual.
Yeah. That's about it. It's. I often wander around and take photographs of. Can be everything, and then afterwards. Afterwards, there's maybe a theme that appears, and maybe not. Sometimes not.
It wouldn't be right to call you a street photographer simply because you are a member of the Street Photo Collective. But actually, when we have a look into your website, we see much more things than pure street photography.
Yeah.
We see beautiful portraits, most of them in black and white, but not only black and white. We see photos of urban landscapes without people. You see some very personal projects. So, how do you feel with this etiquette, street photographer?
I don't really call myself a street photographer. I'm just a photographer, and street photography is like a label for. Yeah, I don't know. It was created at some point in time, like maybe 20 years ago or 30 years ago, and before that, people didn't know about the term street photography.
The concept,
They just went out in the street and photographed, but they were just photographers, and that's more or less what I consider myself too, because I want to be free to photograph the way I want in the moment I feel what I don't want to be limited with the term street photography.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your portraits, because I find them particularly beautiful. When we go into your website, you have portraits and they are so very simple, at the same time so much strong, emotionally strong. How do you approach your subjects? Well, if you can call them subjects, how do you get this natural way of being from the people you photograph without nothing artificial?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't even know myself how I do it, because I'm approaching people, and then most of the time, well, I ask if I can take their photograph, and then most of the time they agree. And then I often say like, just continue what you were doing before, just like I wasn't there. And then
just be there.
Just be there. Just do nothing. And sometimes there are some of them that where the people look directly into the camera, and they. In these cases, people didn't really pose for me. I just took the picture in the position or in the place where they were at that moment.
Okay. You don't direct them. You just take a picture how the way they are looking at you or the way they are standing, and you don't tell them do this or do that.
No, I don't try to direct them, and just try to get a good picture out of the situation.
Of the situation, okay. All these pictures are, I guess they are all analog pictures, most of them. With the ones we see here. Yeah. Because I've got the feeling it's analog.
I think there's no digital with. No, they're all analog, yeah. At least the
All
ones
analog, yeah.
with
Maybe
portraits.
that's the secret, no? Analog photographing, photographing people, random people in the street with using analog. So it's kind of magic.
It's it's kind of magic, and it's what we talked before. It's slower than digital photography. You maybe take, or I maybe take like 2 or 3 pictures of the person and not more. I don't take 10 or 15 of them, and that's it. And sometimes there's no good pictures, no good picture of these 2 or 3, and then
that's it.
That's it. That's how it is. And then I have to find another person to start over again.
Mm-hmm. I see one person here in the portrait. It's Vanessa Winship. Oh,
yeah.
Real?
Yeah, it is.
And I remember when she came to our festival a few years ago as a guest photographer for this conference. I remember that you were particularly enthusiastic about her. I think because her way of photographing people reminds me very much of yourself.
I really like her work. That's it's one of the persons one of the photographers that I admired the work, and then tried, of course, to try to copy them in the beginning, and then because it's a way of or the style of portraits that she makes, or also the other photographs that she makes, because she doesn't only take portraits, she makes a lot more
landscape, urban scenes. Mm-hmm.
She also, at least at the time when she took these portraits, she was also working slowly, a bit like me.
Mm-hmm.
I think she even worked with a plate camera at the time, and so it's maybe there's I don't know,
a connection.
a connection, I once did a workshop with her, and that's where I got to know her. She's a really nice person, and
she was, and the conference was very exceptional, unique. Because what I admire in the portraits is that we don't need to know the name of the person, we don't need to know the context, we don't need this information, we just have the picture, and we just have the feeling of the human being that is in front of your camera. That's why I find them very, very strong. So simplicity is very strong.
It's also, most of my pictures, they don't have a title, because I believe that photographs don't need a title. Mm-hmm. Either they speak for themselves or they don't. And sometimes if it's a person, sometimes I write the name and the date, maybe, but that's it. I think it doesn't need more.
So if we look a little bit more in your website, you've got urban landscapes. That's very interesting as well, because this is somehow connected to street photography, but it's not really street photography, because we see no people. We see just what the theme is, urban landscapes. I guess you photograph analog here in color, most of the scenes.
Yeah, they are.
And these pictures are made in Luxembourg, or
not all of them. Some of them. Let me have a look. There's one in France. These are in Luxembourg. Some in Germany.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't really matter.
What are you looking through these pictures? What kind of feeling are you trying to capture with using your color analog film? We see houses, we see streets, cars, all the elements that belong to urban landscapes. What is the feeling that you are trying to give or to capture in this series?
I don't even know if it's if I want to convey something with them, because when I'm there, I just wander through the villages or the cities, and then when I see something that I like, that could be interesting now or maybe in the future, how it looked back then, when you look back from the future. Or when I see an interesting car, I just photograph it. And I try to show just the situation or the architecture or the atmosphere of the place like it is at that moment. I think that's what William Eggleston said once when he made in the 70s his first exhibition at MoMA. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something like, I just photograph today, and
today, yeah,
that's it. And
what I see,
where
I am, what I see,
and I think the future will tell if they are good photographs or not.
Yeah, no, it's what I like in these pictures is the fact that you're very. It's a very plain way of looking at the cities and the villages. You don't look for spectacular effects. You don't look for spectacular lights. You know, this sometimes people in urban landscapes they look for contre-jour and these light effects, etc. You are very, very objective in your way of looking at these scenes, avoiding all these artificial effects. So they look really very natural.
That's
very soft as well, and also very, how do you say, soft, very soft.
The softness maybe comes a bit from the analog, from film photography.
Yeah.
That might be, but
because the colors seem to embrace us. You know, the colors are not saturated; they are very, very, very soft.
Yeah, it depends on
the film.
On the film you choose.
Was it? It was not a Kodak. Do you remember?
I can't remember. I use different films.
Okay.
Most of them are maybe Kodak. Yeah.
Okay.
But not all.
How do you feel about the big comeback of analog photography? Because you are a user of analog photography. You've been that for several years, but especially since 2-3 years, the last 2-3 years, we have seen a big interest also from younger persons towards analog photography. I remember a few years ago when I went to the shops, they didn't actually have that many films where we could buy.
Yeah.
We had to buy them via internet, and now they have all that we want because there are really lots of people using analog. How do you feel about this?
I think first it's a good thing. But to be honest, it doesn't. For me, it really doesn't feel like a comeback because when I started like 20 years ago, I started with film, and all the way through I shot film, and maybe with one pause of 2 years, something where I shot digital only, but. So for me, it's not really a comeback because I was used to it all the time, and it's cool when people use it more. I think it gives something, maybe not the look, but you are slower with photography, but you're quicker as well because you don't have to do all this. Selection of pictures from your 357 that you took this day, and
good. And yes, at the same time, it's a big. How do you say? Because we are living in this time when digital photography moves into special domains using artificial intelligence, all these sophisticated technologies. And I think people feel the need to go back to the roots, to simple things. And a picture is a picture. A photography is a photography. Maybe it's how do you say?
I think so.
Counterpart. You know.
Yeah, I think there's also there's always like a balance.
A balance, yeah.
So there will always be people that want to be slow or photograph the classic way, or because artificial intelligence in photographs, I didn't really how do you say, I didn't explore the subject yet, and I don't even know if I will at some point. Maybe, but maybe not, because at the moment I'm quite pleased with the way it comes out like this.
Good. Let's talk about your most personal project, which is this series that you produced for presenting, I think, in the festival Le Boutographie. Was it a special series for this festival, or was it a project anyway that you had started?
It was a project I started already almost 10 years ago.
10 years ago,
but
okay.
Without knowing. So I had my transition from male to female in 2014, and at that time I took pictures just to have some memories, and I took them most of them with the phone, some with the camera, and it was only some time after that, like 2, 3, or 4 years after that, I looked at them and I thought, well, maybe I could do something with it. And then I went to Berlin and took the photography courses and so on, and showed the project around a bit. Mm-hmm. And people told me, well, you should do something with it. And so I learned quite a lot during the studies, and then when it came to my final project, I told myself, well, maybe this is the moment to do something. And so I got together all the archival pictures and tried to do some new ones, but I didn't really know how to approach it. And I started, I had this, I didn't really have a concept in mind, but I maybe there was too much pressure, but I failed. So I after 2 or 3 months, I said, well, I'll do something else. And then I started to photograph everything around me, like my everyday life, my kids, my environment. When I had done that for almost 1 year or a little bit more, and I looked at the pictures, then it came to my mind, well, maybe these are the pictures that were missing for the project, and I tried to gather them together, and I'm still about to do it. It's not finished yet, but and then so it came a bit all together. It took me some months. And so that was my final project in the studies
in Berlin.
In Berlin, yes. Mm-hmm. And then I tried to apply it for some festivals and so on, some grants, and so I was chosen for this. For the Boutographie Festival in Montpellier.
And you received also a prize, I think, in Boutographie, no?
Yeah, it was
distinction.
Like a special mention of the jury and Young Public Prize.
Good. Tell us, this Boutographie Festival, tell us a little bit what it is, where it happens.
It's taking place in Montpellier, in France, so south of France. Where normally the weather is good, but when I was there, it rained 3 days in a row. And but it was very nice. It's a very nice festival. It's very familiar. The people are really nice. It's a great team.
Okay. So each year? It's a yearly festival?
It's a yearly festival, and so you can apply for it, I think, in October, November, and then it takes place somewhere in May, I think.
Okay. And when you were participating, was it the edition 2023 or 20? It was 24 or
It was
23, I think. No.
It took place this year in May, so it was 24.
24. Okay. And out of it, you also made a book, or am I wrong?
I'm about to.
You are about to make
yes,
a book. Okay, good.
It's not done yet.
So this is a project in evolution.
In motion, about to be finished, hopefully soon.
Soon.
But I think it won't be for this year, but hopefully for next year, somewhere end of next year.
Okay. In this project, what was so you said photography in the beginning? It was a way of documenting your transition, the way you were changing and transforming your life and your own self. And was it always a documentary stuff, or did it also go into some, I don't know, fictional representation? Or how did photography connect with your reality?
At the time, I wasn't that much into photography, not like I'm now. So at the time, it was really only like documentary.
Okay.
But there's this maybe fictional or other element that comes in with the later pictures that I took, like from 2021 to recently 2023. So there I played a little bit more with with objects, or with also myself or the body, and but also not too much. I didn't want to go too much into fiction or.
Okay. So you remain in the subtle, in the subtlety. You don't avoiding all spectacular effects.
It's still difficult for me to define exactly how to call it or what it's really about, because it's about more than just my transition. It's about relationship with my kids, and like the title, it's easier for me like that. It's also it comes from a discussion I had with my daughter, for example, and so it's all of this is part of it, and
So to tell the listeners, so you can find some of these pictures under the series in your website.
Yeah.
It's easier for me.
Yeah, it's
right?
easier for me like that. Unfortunately,
there are 4 pictures. Yeah,
there are only 4 of them. There are a few more on Instagram.
Okay.
But most of them are. There might be a picture on Instagram from the exhibition. I think there was. Yeah, there are. Yes, there's one, but there are more pictures, but they are really small. Okay. So
anyway, we want to discover a few novelties in the book. You cannot. Okay. So the project it's this book. It's the main project. Do you have other projects ongoing?
For the moment, I concentrate on that.
Okay.
And then because also I had beginning of the year I had 3 exhibitions, and it was and besides working almost full time, it's quite a lot. So I'm taking it a bit slower now. I'm concentrating on the book, and then afterwards we'll see. I already have some things in mind I want to explore, like these urban landscapes is one thing that I really want to do more still. And then there's another project that I don't know if that might talk a little bit more about me, or it's like a self-portrait thing.
Okay.
But nothing is really fixed there.
Okay.
I still have to try out a lot.
It's in preparation.
Not even yet.
If I understand right, you've got a job which is not connected to photography,
no.
but which gives you what you need to live. And then you've got your freedom to create on the photographic level. Is it right?
Yeah, that's right. I tried briefly to, when I finished the studies, to try to live from photography, and I quickly realized that it's not that easy, and because I'm not 20 anymore, and I don't have this energy anymore to really go for it, and have some kids, have some responsibilities. There's a need for consistent income.
And And you would be obliged to do some very commercial stuff, which maybe would distract you, from your main objective.
So I took the decision to get a regular job, and then and after that, it came out that isn't so bad like it sounds, because I'm really, when I finish my job, after that I'm really free to photograph what I want. I don't. Yeah.
You're not photographing to get money, to get your earnings, but you are photographing because you want to create, personal projects.
I don't have to listen to anyone to do my photography. So it's kind of freedom that's.
That you enjoy.
Really cool, yeah.
Okay. At the same time, you continue to be an active member of the Street Photography Collective, and you continue to create very, very nice street photography, but in your own way. You're not looking for the classic street photography. This as I call this effect searching.
I did that for like maybe 2, 3, or 4 years. Around the time when I joined the collective, but at some point, I don't know, I got a bit bored with
it. Because it seems like we're doing the same thing all over again and again and again.
You're seeing same pictures all over again, and then I discovered documentary photography and.
You define yourself as a documentary photography. I read something about that.
Yeah. But I think mostly, but I think most of what we photograph is kind of documentary.
Documenting,
At least that's how I do it, and how I see it. I don't really try to create something when I photograph.
You've got a very, very personal approach to photography. Your journey into photography is something that came slowly, gradually. You didn't force anything. It just flowed into your life and your way of expressing yourself. So, because it's very different from what sometimes we see, that people jump into photography and then they get crazy about it, and then everything must happen very quickly. Even becoming famous must happen very quickly. But it doesn't really matter to you, I see.
It doesn't really matter that much, and I also think that it doesn't work like that. You can try to get famous, but it's not.
You can buy followers.
Yeah, but it's not up to you to decide if you're really getting famous. You just you can do your work, maybe the best you can, and then see what comes out of it.
Okay.
That's how I try to approach it, and it's not. I think I don't have to be famous. If I'm not, it's fine.
What is your photography? One thing I think I understood, what you photograph must appeal to you, must be really an authentic way of expressing your feelings, your emotions. So it's very personal photography. But what about the feedback from people? How do you feel when people look at your pictures and they tell you this or that, and maybe they see things that you didn't see?
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm in exhibition and my pictures on the wall, or people talk to me about the work, then sometimes they say things I never thought about, and it gives me another view on my own work, and that's the beautiful thing about it. If you don't try to to force your view on the project to other people. People can imagine themselves their own story out of it. And,
already the fact that you don't give always titles to your pictures, that's already an invitation to the viewer to make his own.
Yeah, that's part of that
imaginary. Yeah.
Sometimes there's at least in these exhibitions there were a little bit of text, but people don't. It's not much. It's a little bit, and if people want to read it, they can read it. And also in the book, it won't be a textbook. There might be one text, but that might be it. Somewhere in the back, hidden, that people don't really find it or see it. Just only if they want to.
Okay. So we can follow you on your website or on your Instagram. So to know about this project, this book project. So to know when it will happen.
Yeah. There's a possibility to get my newsletter, which doesn't come very often. But I created it mostly for this purpose, to keep people updated if there's something like a book. And so that's one way. And also I think it when it will happen, I will also
inform the collective.
Or publish it on Instagram and social media.
Of course, yeah. Okay, so I think we had a very nice talk, even if we are not English native speakers.
No, but...
Just for the moment, Eric is showing me something. Yes, we mustn't forget to inform our listeners that the next Light Leaks Festival 2025 edition will take place from 15th to 18th of May in Les Rotondes, as usual. So it's already a date, rendezvous that you can note in your agenda. You will be with us.
I'll be there.
Yeah. Okay. And you will have also a participation in collective exhibition, I think.
I'm about to take some photographs.
For that purpose.
For it.
And before this rendezvous, this Light Leaks, do you have another exhibition or some place where...
No, nothing's really planned for the moment. Yeah. Taking it slowly.
Take it slowly.
Yeah. The book is enough for right now. And
okay. I'm very curious, what is your favorite music that accompanies your photos? Just to imagine myself, because each photographer has got also a musical universe. Do you have specific music that you like, that inspire you, that accompany you?
I have kind of, but I don't know if it fits to my pictures. I really like the early trance techno music from the 90s. Even like there's some really good not DJs, composers of techno music right now, and which I really like.
Okay.
That's to
decompress.
To decompress, yeah.
But nothing impedes us from looking at your pictures and put the techno music on.
Yes, you can do that, but...
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Giulia, for this nice moment we had here.
Thank you.
Thank you also to Eric Engel, who is here taking care of the technical part. And thank you all of you listeners, happy listeners, for listening to this podcast. And see you next time.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you for having me.